about me.
Don't worry about you. What you doing?
Don't worry about me. I'm getting better.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Listen, today I want to talk about marriage. We gonna talk about marriage. We're gonna talk about marriage checklists. Is that beneficial? Not beneficial? From what I recall, me and Big Charles didn't necessarily have a checklist, but I could be wrong.
That's a lie.
But I could be wrong. So, as always, y'all stick around. We're gonna get into marriage checklist.
So let me put my hat on back for this one.
Let's go.
Let's go. Whatever come out this episode, God bless it.
God bless.
Whatever we say, God bless it.
God bless it.
God, whatever come out of our mouth right now, God bless it.
God bless it.
Amen. Shucks. Welcome back to another episode of the Big Dog Talk Podcast. It's me, the one and only Big Charles in the building, baby.
What's up, Big Charles? I like you with your hat to the back. It's your girl, Big Shay, and we are back in the building.
You already got me scared.
What you scared about?
You already got me scared.
I just want to say to the listeners that I'm still
Big Shay gonna be out for about 8
one
weeks.
hand wonder. So y'all just get used to this for a little while. I'll keep y'all updated, but for right now, we still waiting for that doctor's appointment.
Right. You got about 8 weeks like that.
I know 11/11 better not roll around with this on my hand.
But anyway, you got me.
I know that much.
Right. You can't.
Shoot, that's my birthday.
But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You asked me a question.
Okay, so when you turn your hat to the back like that, I feel like you mean business. So why your hat back like that?
Because.
Turn-
So do I look funny?
No.
So the reason I turned my hat to the back is because you and I were discussing before the episode, before we started recording, about a marriage checklist.
Yeah.
And how you think it can hurt or hinder or it can stop a person from progressing or.
First of all, you don't know what I think. We haven't even gotten to the point of what I think.
Well, based off of your statements, you gave me an idea that you don't believe in a marriage checklist. Based off of your statement, we didn't go into detail.
We did not.
But you gave me an idea.
I presented to you something hot off the press. So
yeah, you did. You did. You did.
But see, the thing about it is like right now you're acting like you want beef or something. Like
Because
your hat to the, that's what I'm saying. Your hat to the back is like you ready for like war. Like
I felt
what's
like
up?
okay, all right.
What's up with it?
Before we even get into that though, can I ask you a question on some real spill?
All right.
How do you feel about like how Tyrese and DJ Envy is going at it?
You know what? I try to stay out of people's business.
Right.
But I'm Big Shay, and that's not really my specialty.
Right.
I'm in people business.
Yes,
right?
you are.
I'm in people business. I think I brought it to your attention what was
You
going
did.
on. Like, did you see what is going on with DJ Envy and Tyrese? So my first thought was like, I was just like, why are these two brothers even hashing this out in front of the world like that?
Yeah, you can't do that.
Because from my perspective, from what I gathered from their situations, that they used to be really good friends.
Well, friends fall out.
But that we didn't get to the fault. We didn't get to that. I'm just saying they used to be really good friends. It didn't seem like they were just people in the industry that kind of knew each other and hung out.
Right.
It feels like they were like family, like friends
Right.
that turned into family.
They frenemies.
They frenemies now, you know,
Right.
and
How it usually goes.
it seems like it's stemmed from some sort of marital situation that DJ Envy and his wife had. Not judging their marriage, don't even care, just giving the facts on what I've heard, that Tyrese helped them through something in
Some
their
rough times.
some rough patches in their marriage.
Right.
And it seemed to really help them, you know, patch things back together. But then boom, something happened and DJ Envy feel like he want to box Tyrese in his mouth.
Right. Right.
As he said on the air.
So I don't really want to go into detail exactly what they're arguing about. You know, like you said, it has something to do with DJ Envy marriage and how Tyrese helped him.
Right.
But also, it has something to do with Tyrese disrespecting his marriage and like allegedly flirting with his wife.
I did hear a little. Yes,
Allegedly.
Right.
Based off of Tyrese saying allegedly, and DJ Envy said Tyrese did flirt,
Yeah.
you know,
Was getting too close to his wife, or something
Right.
like that. Yeah.
But on the flip side, because that part I don't really want to gossip about. But on the flip side, DJ Envy on live, national, social media, TV, big platform, tells a grown man he felt like boxing him in his mouth. Was he wrong or right for even saying that to another grown man on his platform?
I honestly, like I said, I feel like just the whole entire situation shouldn't even be broadcasted. But
Right.
this is the world that we live in, right?
No, I'm not doing that.
This is the world that we live in where people are, I'm saying people are hashing out, celebrities are hashing out private matters and things that should be taken care of behind closed doors. They're hashing it out for the whole world to see. However, for DJ Envy to look another man in the eyes on the big platform and say that he feels like basically that he should put his hands on him in that moment is very disrespectful.
So, like,
and unnecessary.
I thought
and
it was
childlike and low emotional intelligence.
Well, I thought it was so here. I don't know if it was low emotional intelligence. I do think it was very ignorant. If that's how you truly felt, men that mean what they say, you're not going to say that on camera.
That's true.
You know, I'm not telling anyone that I should box you on your mouth on camera because I understand if that person is anything like me,
right,
you got to be able to deal with the consequences for telling another man that I should box you in your mouth.
And there's been a consequence to that statement.
You know, so I wouldn't definitely threaten a man. I don't think that was called for. And there is a consequence now. Now it's nasty. Now it's ugly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, you know, Tyrese is out putting a lot of intimate stuff out there. And that's now it's Tyrese wrong?
It's sticky. Well, here's the thing. Both of them are wrong though.
Check and check.
You know, because at the end of the day, DJ Envy shouldn't have never got on, had it used his platform to say, I'm going to basically belittle, emasculate another man. You can't do that. And you know what influence that you have. You know what the Breakfast Club brings to the table. You cannot use that platform. I don't care how mad you were now. Whatever you done off camera is one thing.
Right.
But to use that platform for that moment, unacceptable. Now, Tyrese is basically writing a tell-all book.
Yeah, because also the other thing that DJ Envy did that kind of ruffled my feathers a little bit is how he made reference to Tyrese's mental health breakdown that we had. And the whole world saw that. That was plastered everywhere when Tyrese unfortunately went through his mental health breakdown. I just think that that's also like a very sensitive thing that somebody like Tyrese has had to kind of rebuild himself and, you know, become stronger mentally and try to do what he can to put that part that the whole world had seen behind him be brought up in such a negative kind of energy light again, you know, in between with the argument between him and DJ Envy.
Well, they both ruffle my feathers. It's not no pick a side over here.
No, I'm not picking a side. I'm just picking points that I can remember as we're discussing it. I don't have a side. They both were wrong.
Right.
And it's unnecessary. And that's not how we should handle conflict.
Well, not on the big screen. But anyway.
No.
Not on the big screen. We hope they fix that. We hope they get it together. However they choose to handle it, we don't condone violence.
Right.
And hopefully they can correct it.
Yeah, hopefully they can come to some resolution, at least just have a civilized, grown-up conversation.
Or if not, just walk away
from it. Just stop.
It.
Just let it be.
Right, it's not a good look.
It's not.
But anyway.
Child.
That was a lot.
It was. So what we really want to talk about today, Big Charles, I can't believe you. What we really want to talk about today is marriage checklists. So on social media, I'm scrolling and I see this post and it says, are marriage checklists like beneficial prior to getting married?
Right.
And so I was thinking about us, like for most of our listeners, they know that you and I have been married for 12 years. And then I started thinking, like, when we were dating and, realizing that we had a connection, we really liked each other, even prior to you proposing, did we have a checklist?
Yeah, we had a check. I had a checklist.
I do not feel like we had a checklist.
We had a
Okay.
checklist. I'm telling you.
So when I say checklist, can I just run you down?
Run them down.
Run them down.
So this is a before you get married checklist.
This is a before you get married checklist that I came across on social media.
Okay.
So it's kind of long, but bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna go fast. Before you get married, you should discuss bills, parenting styles, credit, debit, religion, how to deal with family, what beliefs will be instilled in your children, childhood trauma, sexual expectations, partner expectations, financial expectations, family health history, mental health history, any bucket lists, your dream home, careers and education, political views, and whatever else comes to mind.
Hey, I like the idea. I like that.
Why?
I like that because right there, that kind of checklist is telling me that you are setting yourself up the best way you know how to be successful and have a successful marriage.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying, okay, you got to be 5'3", waist 22, whatever inches, but got to be this kind of. They're not saying that kind of checklist.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is a person that has foresight that really want to have a successful. Whoever came up with that list, shout out to whoever came up with that. Shout out.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Put your finger down.
Shout out to whoever came up with that.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you came to me, about, I don't know, how many years ago? 15, 16, 17 years ago with this checklist, you would have scared the HE double hockey sticks out of me with all of this. Because here's the thing.
Well, we're not talking about verbatim, but I definitely had a checklist for you. That we're not gonna cap on Big Dog Talk podcast.
Who's capping?
You capping because I had a checklist.
Yo. No,
I had a checklist.
Thanks for letting me know you had a checklist. Listen, 12 years later.
So you don't remember me saying this. You don't remember me saying
I know
this.
some things that were highlighted.
Oh.
However, you didn't present them like a checklist.
Well, who's going to go up to somebody and say, hey, I have a list of notes here.
Listen.
Before we get married, we have to talk about
these things that you need to discuss.
But you should. The more, the better. I'm not saying you have to discuss all of those.
Now,
bills, debt, credit.
I'm gonna state
sex.
First of all, okay.
We didn't discuss. Sex,
I'm not gonna let you pull me in right now. It's too soon.
Oh, I would have wanted. We could have.
Yeah. You want an agreement around sex? Yeah, for sure. I'm not gonna let you pull me in right now because yes, are there some items on this list that I feel that are important to cover? Right. Absolutely. Do I feel that some of them were like covered prior to us getting married? Yes. Organically, just by observation, just by dating, but some were a little bit more direct.
But that's
especially
cap, though.
In the financial area.
That's cap.
How's that cap?
Go ahead, keep going.
I'm saying especially in the financial area. With me, you asked me about my dad, you asked me about my credit score.
How much money you made?
You asked me how much money I made, how much money I had saved up in the bank. Like you asked me some of those things. Some things were so through dating, some things were already out there. Like we met in church. So we already knew that from a foundation of religious Christianity beliefs. We already knew that we were the same
faith-based.
Same faith-based. I already had our sweet little precious Autumn. Mm-hmm. So you already got to experience and observe like how I parented. Right. Childhood trauma, child. What?
No, we didn't. No, we wasn't talking about no childhood trauma. But this is 15 years ago. We're in a more awakening
as it relates to childhood trauma.
Yes, we're in a better state where the entire world is talking about childhood trauma now.
Absolutely.
So if I was aware about it back then, I would have brought that up because that actually matters.
It does matter, but when you are here's my, like, for me the caveat. When you're dating someone, like there are, to me, from my perspective, there are certain things that are discovered kind of along the way.
I agree.
And that is
That's the
almost
beauty
like the
of it.
beauty of
I-
the journey of being married.
That is.
Because baby, had you known all of my like all of it,
And vice versa.
you would have been like, it could have been like feeling red flaggish to the point where you may not have been, maybe me or you wouldn't have wanted to pursue. But I'm saying you because we had kind of like a traditional courting where you kind of took the lead and you kind of, you were the man, you came in, looking, talking, asking questions, discussing. You proposed to me. So it was kind of like traditional in that sense, I would say.
Right.
But that's just the beauty of marriage and the journey of being married.
I agree, but some of that stuff on your checklist though, the credit, the debt, what else is on there? Credit and debt is
discussing bills.
Discussing bills. That is credit, debt, discussing bills. What do you want to be? Are you goal oriented? Those type of questions are necessary before you decide
to propose to someone.
Exactly.
Now, that's what I'm saying. Some of those things I do agree with. I think it's important because something that I think people forget is that marriage is a business. It is. As much as we would like to just focus on the relationship aspect of marriage is a business. So you coming into my life, you came in, you didn't have any kids, you had good credit, you had a good financial status, right? You did. So you come into a relationship with me, let's just say in real life, my credit wasn't the best.
Wait, but let's not downplay it though.
No. Let me finish my thought. Okay. My credit wasn't the best. I was a great mom. I had a career. I was educated. I was goal oriented. I had great wife abilities. Very nurturing, things like that. My bad credit
didn't have stopped me.
Exactly.
Because that was my strength.
Right, but see, everybody not looking at these lists like this because a lot of times I feel like when people have these lists, they're so focused on the other person.
Right.
And not focused on themselves. Mm-hmm. So this list, it just, for me, it's like some things are obviously important, especially from, I would say, let's just say somebody says that they have mental health issues. I think that that's really important to know in a relationship because it could deteriorate a relationship. Or it could just be one of those little hot spots in the relationship that are like a priority that has to be focused on, has to be massaged, and has to be a part of exercising good mental health to keep the health of the relationship, if that makes sense. But this could also, having this list could also make people miss out on wonderful people.
I mean, I do. I hear where you're coming from. Back to the.
I appreciate that.
So I do agree with you when you said earlier. I think that's part of the beauty of being married. You start unfolding some things along the journey, basically.
Right.
So I don't want to look over that because that's definitely 3,000% doggy treat.
It brings character to the marriage.
It brings sauce to it.
Yes.
Major sauce.
Yes.
On the other side, though, I do believe that before you get married, they should be a level of a checklist. And I'm not talking about the low surface that he has to be 6 feet tall. You know what I mean?
7-figure earning.
Right. Wang hanging to the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because none of that says that he's gonna be or she's gonna be a good partner.
Right. Now you hit the nail on the head for me. That's the nail that you hit on the head. And like I said a few minutes ago, people could really miss out on somebody that is really good for them because they're so focused on these things.
Right.
Which these things are important.
So back to what I was stating, the credit, the knowing how to pay bills, knowing how to just have a conversation on what's the end goal? What's the goal? Having a vision for your marriage, having a game plan, nothing never goes as planned.
Absolutely.
But you got to have some sort of foundation.
Because when you talk about something like, for example, just pulling from this list, parenting styles, what if nobody has children?
Right.
Right? And although you may say, "Oh, I believe in gentle parenting," and the other person may be like, "Well, I believe in spare the rod, spoil the child. I'm old school."
Right.
You really don't know what your parenting style will really evolve into
Until that child get in
until
front
that
of you.
child is born, because every big moment in marriage,
Oh, yeah, every big moment, don't forget that you really don't know how you're going to you don't know how you're going to parent until that child gets in front of you, and that child is crying. You may come home having a bad day from work.
That stuff.
You don't, these things you don't know how you're going to resolve until you're actually in the moment.
Absolutely.
Back to it. I'm sorry.
Give me my cue. What did I say?
You was like, as far as gentle parenting.
No, before that.
God, dog.
See what happens?
That's why I told you to hold it, because I wanted to get some detail right there.
I didn't hold it.
Oh
God. I didn't hold it, Big Charles.
I shouldn't have never cut you off, man. I was just trying to give some details.
Yeah.
But I apologize about that. So, but I will say this. So, checklist. I agree with it too, in a point, like you said, there needs to be a foundation.
Absolutely.
You know, like you said in the beginning, you relax.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Every major moment in a marriage changes the marriage. So let's just say when we got married, when you met me, we had one kid.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we got married, we had 2 kids. A few months after the marriage, we had 3 kids. So that automatically changes the dynamic of the relationship. Later, then we bought our first home. That changed the dynamic of the relationship. So in my opinion, you can have this checklist, but life is going to life. And so as life continues to change and the marriage continues to evolve, some of that stuff is going out the window, because then you got to adjust to life.
But here's the thing, because marriage is a game that you want to win.
And that you want to play.
And so here's the thing, though. I'm not going to show up to a game without a playbook. I need some sort of playbook to go to when it's time to make certain moves.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what I'm saying is, beloved,
Mm-hmm.
is that you need to know certain things based upon the goal. You need to know certain things about each other
Mm-hmm.
based on the goal and what strategy that goal will demand of you.
Correct.
So, for instance, like you said earlier, because I don't want to downplay you just had bad credit, but you actually was making good money as well.
Right.
You know, you were very, very intelligent. You're very educated.
Mm-hmm.
Great parent. Credit wasn't that good, but I can work with that. But you made good money.
Right.
And you was a hustler.
Right.
You was a hustler. You make more money than me. You made more money than me.
Right.
I had more money.
Right.
So if you made more money and I had more money, that showed me that woman right there, she knows how to go get it, and I know how to double it.
Right.
So that was okay. I can work with that. We can work with each other.
Right.
So because we both had goals of achieving certain things.
Right. Right.
That was that phase.
Right.
And I'm back to what you just said. There's different moments in the marriage that changes.
Right. Because what I was going to say, like when you mentioned you're a sports guy, you played, football at, a high level, which was in college. You played football at a high level. And even with that, when you speak about a playbook, even with that, sometimes you have to change the play.
Instincts kick in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the beauty of it.
Even though you do have the foundation, like you said, of a playbook, midway, mid the game, you got to change the play.
Now, see, like certain things now, like I heard the sex check, the sex.
I was waiting. It says sexual expectation.
I think that's something you learn along the journey.
Right.
Because like you said, things change up.
Right.
During marriage. You start having kids, both of you start getting older, both working more.
Right.
It ain't gonna be how it was when you didn't have any kids. You ain't gonna be just swinging around the house.
You ain't got that type of time.
Backflipping. It ain't So now we may have to bring it back to the drawing board. Now we got to discuss this.
Right.
So I don't agree with this is everything that you should check off the checklist before you get married.
And the other thing too about this is that nobody's gonna see eye to eye on everything.
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
That's just like asking for like epic failure in my opinion.
Right.
No one's gonna have the ability to see eye to eye on everything. So you go ahead and you pick some things that may be
What's
a
really
priority
important
for you. Serious, like when you think about, getting married. This is even before you might even find somebody that you're dating that may be your potential mate. Think about these things now. If you're single and your desire is to be married, I will say give some thought to a couple of things that are really high on your list of priorities as it relates to the business side of marriage. If it's financial, then those are the things that you may look out for when you're dating, or, as you may be going out on dates and you see someone, those may be direct questions that you ask them and you frame it up however, but it could be financial. It could be religion. Sometimes that's really high on the bucket list for people. It could be education. It could be parenting styles, because maybe the way you were parented, maybe you completely disagree with that. So you feel very strongly about the way that you want to parent your children.
Right.
And I think that that's okay. But don't present shorty or don't present the guy with this intense list of things.
Well, here's the thing, though. You're not presenting a checklist to anyone.
Well, when I say present, I even mean in the form of discussing, because that could also run somebody off.
That's crazy, because I saw on social media where
I'm out.
they had this young lady. She's like our daughter's age.
Okay.
It's a white lady, white young adult.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she won't even date a man without them allowing her to see their bank account.
See what I'm saying? So don't get stupid. Don't get stupid.
That's cold-blooded.
Don't get stupid like shorty. No.
That's cold-blooded.
Like, come on now.
So a checklist, do I agree with this? A certain type of checklist?
She is so silly. Why would you tell me that? And she's young though too, but she's still
about
silly.
20. Well, she's about 25.
I mean, because even when I, in the spirit of that,
right.
Even when I think about our daughter, who is in her early 20s, and obviously, she's someone who wants to be, in a relationship. Through conversation with her, you can tell that there are some things for her that are high on the priority list of someone that she would even consider dating seriously. I think that that's okay because she has expectations.
Right. But here's the thing, though. So, like you said, back to me agreeing with you, certain expectations can stop you from meeting the right person.
Absolutely.
Like, for instance, like right now, women are in a place where they're making more. We're in a different times. Women are making more money than men, easily.
Did you hear Tyler Perry talk about that?
Women are making more money than men.
He just recently said that too. Yeah, easily. Yeah.
And nowadays, there's a demand from women that's placed upon men that, hey, I'm not dating a man that's making less than this because of my financial status. You really can miss out on a really good person because you are putting these expectations or limitations.
Yep.
Because honestly, a real woman or a real man's self-worth is not in their net worth.
I love it.
Right?
Absolutely not.
So when it comes to those sort of expectations, because I'm making 6 figures, he has to make 6 figures, or because I'm making 6 figures, she has to make 6 figures, I don't agree with that type of checklist.
Right.
But when it comes to like a certain foundation about finances and debt and how we're gonna pay bills, how discussing certain how do we what are our goals?
Right.
If faith is a priority, because faith is and still is a high priority in our marriage.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Those type of things with faith and bills and debt and credit, those are some of the core foundation and goal-oriented because what I've learned about us, like with me, I was big on finances because I studied that. I was aware that most divorces end because of financial issues.
Right.
So if we can discuss these things before we get married, we have a better chance
Right.
at defeating the odds.
Right. Nah.
If that makes sense.
No, I mean, I do agree with the foundation of having, some tough conversations before like taking a relationship to the next level. Whatever
Take
that
tough
may
out.
be.
Just normalize it.
Just normalize it. Normalize, you know what? We about
It's a business.
90 days into this relationship, and I like him. And he's like, I like Shorty.
Whoa, 90 days is too early.
Well, no, 90 days. Well,
that's 3 months.
3 months. You've been dating somebody for 3 months. You might realize that you want to continue to date them, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Like, I want to continue to date this person. But before making it to 6 months, I do want to have some tough conversations. So, like, I'm saying, like, normalize that kind of early on when you realize I like Shorty. I like her. I like him. Like, so, how's your credit score?
But don't show up as a drill sergeant.
No, I think it's good to preface those sorts of conversations. How would you how would you feel if, when we go out the next time, we kind of talk about, some priorities in our relationship, because it's clear that I'm feeling you, you feeling me. And in order to move forward, I think it's important that we kind of have, some valuable conversation as to things that are important to us to continue to date. Because maybe when, let's just say for the female, when she have kids, maybe she want to be a stay-at-home mom. And you didn't quite sign up for that. We're going to be productive around here because that's something that's important to you.
Right.
So like you said, I think the main thing is that when you out there dating, like you just said, Big Charles, just normalize at some point transitioning the fun into real conversations to determine if this is someone you can do business with.
Because at the end of the day,
because you can lay up as long as you want, but at some point, you're going to have to do business with this person.
You're going to have to do business with this person. Either you want to have a successful business or you're going to have a business that flops. I don't know not one business that have business partners that don't even talk to their employees. You understand me? Don't even talk. You have to be able to talk and discuss these things because the goal is to win.
Yeah.
The goal is to win. Now, like I said, I've been heavy on the sex one part. Because I'm saying that because a lot of people think like marriage and sex, it just stays the same.
Right.
That ain't how it works.
Right.
Like you said, you have different, I'm talking about sex because it is a big aspect.
Sex is a big part. I'm being funny, but it's a big part.
It's a huge part.
Absolutely.
But these type of things, your viewpoint on it at in the beginning is definitely going to be different than when you got 3 or 4 kids and 2 dogs running around the house.
Mortgage.
You know what I mean? Mortgage. Your view is going to be different. So these are things that you discover. Those sorts of things are what you discover along the journey. That's the beauty of marriage, working it out, figuring it out, conquering it.
Right. One of the things that I do like that's on here that I kind of glazed over initially, but now that we're having this conversation is partner expectations. I actually like that because what are you expecting from me if we were to get married? And what am I expecting of you when we get married?
Right.
And I think that that's like simple, but something that's really just not even discussed in a relationship.
And that also is going to change as well.
It's also going to change, but I feel like
in seasons.
From an expectation standpoint, that you can expect and count on me in certain areas. No matter what season of life our marriage is in, there are just certain aspects of our marriage that you can always expect me to show up in.
Okay, Big Shay.
And vice versa.
Got it.
So I think that one is like really important because although things will ever be changing and there'll be highs and there'll be lows, but you already know the areas that I'm going to show up in regardless.
So Big Shay, question for you.
Don't get crazy, Big Charles.
What are 3 takeaways or doggy treats that you could possibly give to our listeners that are inspired to get married? So do you believe in a checklist? Do you not believe in a checklist? Does it supposed to look a certain kind of way? What is your perspective? What is your opinion? Give some doggy treats. Three three doggy treats that our listeners can take away and be like, I'm gonna sit on that and think about it.
So, even before I answer that, I want to say that I do understand that we are discussing and dissecting this topic from an experience place, right? We're not in the dating game. We're not in the dating
We
pool.
actually are in a dating game where you and I still date.
When I say from a single, yes, we do. We are not, we are not in the dating game. We are not in the dating pool. And I also feel that dating has changed since we dated, right? So we are giving these perspectives, obviously from personal experience. So what I would say is that it's really important. One thing is that it is really important to understand that marriage, yes, there is a huge part of marriage that's relationship, right? But marriage is a business. Marriage is a business that can either make or break, honestly, your life. All marriages don't last for many different reasons, but a lot of the marriages that do last, I feel like they understand that there's a business aspect to marriage. So if you're thinking about getting married or you're dating and the next step is marriage, treat it as a business. Have those have those tough conversations with your partner about things that are important to you, is what I would say for one thing. The second thing that I would say is just be honest. Like Big Charles said, be honest about the things that are important to you as you navigate through dating, being single, and looking for your forever partner. Be honest. If something is important to you, if it's finances, if it's parenting style, then you have a personal right to hold that true to your heart. And hopefully, the person that you have strong interest in being with, they can either agree with you on those things, or you guys can agree that that's an area within your relationship that is willing to be worked on and find a middle ground for a successful marriage. The third thing that I would say would be, I still don't know if I believe or disagree in a checklist. But what I will say is that from the list of things that I read out to you guys earlier on in this episode, some of them are really important. Like some of these things are really important. And I really don't know what dating looks like right now, but some of these things are really, really important. And like I just said, I guess it's kind of like number two, number three. I guess I only have two, Big Charles. If it's important to you, communicate it. Normalize communicating the things. Don't date 6 months in, 7 months in, and never talk about things that are important to you. And then when you come to a point in a relationship where the other person is not interested or can't agree with what you said, so now there is a deterioration in the possible potential that that relationship could have. So normalize having tough conversations in order to progress the relationship into hopefully marriage one day.
And that's on that.
And that's on that. It was rocky, but you get the point. I went around across the street, up the hill, down the block, got me some chips and came back. But you get the point.
Man.
You need to clean it up.
Golly. I don't have too much to say, not today. But I'm going to tell you this, though, man or woman, for sure. You will want to get a person of faith that believes in a higher power, that reverence something that's more important than you. Because if that person can hold themselves accountable to a higher power, then that person will be seeking and searching to even get better in understanding the love of their higher power and the love for you. You will want a person that has foresight, that has vision, to have an idea of the direction of their marriage in which they wanted to go in. And I do believe in having a foundation when it comes to finances and how you're going to pay bills, how much money you want to save, and just have these conversations. These other things on the checklist, where like the height, the size, the muscle, the body type, that is minuscule.
Very much
Because
so.
that right there will not save a marriage, because at the end of the day, all of that will vanish.
And change
Along the process. I used to have hair.
My stomach was a lot flatter.
I don't have hair no more. But at the end of the day, I recommend you getting a person of faith, a person that has vision and foresight, a person that's goal-oriented, a person that'll go to war with you. One thing about my wife, I knew that she was willing to go to war with me. I knew it was going to be, I wanted to change the lineage of the legacy of my family, from not just for me, but my ancestors. I wanted to change the game. And I knew it took a woman that was just as tough as me, if not tougher. We got to go to war. We got to change the narrative. Faith, family, fitness, finances, and freedom. And I stand on it. If you want to win, there's certain things that you want to go over and have a foundation just to be prepared.
Right.
When it comes.
Right.
Simple as that.
Dating with intentions. Y'all, scratch everything that I said before that and just get your doggy treats from Big Charles, okay? Dave was more concise, direct, and eloquently said, scratch everything I said. He said what I meant.
Because you was like, you just went going around the world. Nah, yeah.
I can't find my baby. Don't be that girl. Don't be that girl. That's good.
But at the end of the day, man, y'all get it, man.
But do it your way.
Do it your way.
Do it your way. This was our way.
Do it your way.
This is for the sake of conversation. Do it your way.
Do it your way.
Date with intentions if you desire to be married.
Period.